Sure of that.
Come back to me.
Please stay away. Stay away from me!
Stop her quickly! Wait! Jean, please!
I know whose blood that was.
This is my destiny.
After the devastating events of Doomsday, the entire world stopped. The scars left by Doom Stark, the insane fusion between Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom, were still visible in the four corners of the planet. Cities destroyed, timelines distorted, and realities collapsed. Even after all this chaos, a provisional peace agreement was signed. The new Avengers decided to let Doom Stark live. Exiled in Latveria, isolated within his own fortress, under the promise of not overstepping his bounds, but not everyone accepted this decision. For Magneto, this was the greatest betrayal the Avengers had ever committed. In his mind, there was no room for diplomacy when it came to Doom, and faced with the silence of the nations, faced with the cowardice of the Avengers, Magneto understood an uncomfortable truth. They don't want to protect the world. They want to protect it for themselves. In the main hall of Xavier's academy, Magneto paced back and forth, his red cape dragging on the floor, while holographic projections showed Doom Stark walking freely through the streets of Latveria. They let him live. After everything. After nearly destroying reality, after nearly erasing every single one of us, they just let him. His eyes shone with indignation, and his voice, although controlled, seemed to carry the weight of all the hatred he had accumulated throughout his life. Doom is a mistake. Doom is not just a threat. Doom is the very collapse of what we still call existence. And the most surprising thing was that, this time, Professor Xavier didn't disagree. For the first time in years, Charles looked at Eric and silently, simply nodded his head in affirmation. "You are right," Xavier declared in a firm voice. "This time there is no room for diplomacy. Letting Doom Stark live is signing our death warrant, and perhaps the death warrant of the entire multiverse." The shock in the room was immediate. Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Wolverine, and Storm stared at each other in absolute silence, as if, for the first time, they were witnessing Xavier cross a line they never thought he would cross. Magneto then turned to everyone, and his voice sounded like cold steel being shaped. "The problem isn't just Doom, it's who allowed him to stay. The Avengers, they are the real villains. Cowards, accomplices, or maybe just as ambitious as he is." Magneto's words echoed like venom, and slowly the X-Men began to realize that maybe he was right. And it wasn't just a matter of justice, it was a matter of survival. Information began to circulate, reports of dimensional ruptures, of disturbances in the timelines, and, most alarming, confirmation that an entity, far beyond any threat ever faced, was watching Beyonder, the being beyond reality, an entity that transcends the gods themselves. Beyonder had begun to observe again, and with him, a possible new event was approaching, as Secret Wars. And for Magneto, there was no longer any doubt. If Doom Stark was alive, if the Avengers were willing to protect him, then they were all complicit, and if they weren't stopped now, the world wouldn't even stand a chance of surviving what was to come. It was then that Magneto made the decision that would change everything. He gathered the X-Men, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, and even Professor Xavier himself. And looking into each of their eyes, Magneto declared, "The Avengers are not heroes. They are the real threat. They have become guardians of imbalance, accomplices to chaos. They protected Doom. They chose their side. And now, we choose ours." The silence was broken only by Cyclops' voice. "So, that's it. We're declaring war. On the Avengers." Magneto clenched his fists, causing magnetic fields to vibrate around him, and replied with all the coldness and conviction that could exist. "It is not war. It is correction. It is balance. And if they chose to protect Doom, then they fall with him." At Avengers Tower, alarms sounded. Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes, Yelena, and Frank Castle watched as alerts went off on the monitors. X-Men mobilization detected. Magneto, Professor Xavier, and several mutants en route to Latveria. Possible target, Doom Stark. Sam took a deep breath. He knew this would happen. They didn't accept the deal, and now, they're going to try to take justice into their own hands. Bucky crossed his arms. "To be honest, even I don't really accept that deal," Yelena immediately countered. "But this is insanity. War between us. This shouldn't be happening." Frank Castle stood up, loading his rifle. "It always happens. Heroes, villains, vigilantes. In the end, it's all a matter of point of view. And every war starts like this." Sam then looked at everyone, and in a firm tone he declared, "They think we are weak for not eliminating Doom. They think we bow down. They think we are complicit. But they don't understand that preventing a war is much harder than making one." On the opposite side of the world, the skies of Latveria began to tear apart. Magneto floated, electromagnetic fields erupting alongside Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Xavier, and Wolverine. On the other side, the new Avengers were positioned. Sam Wilson with his vibranium shield. Bucky, Frank Castle, and Yelena prepared, ready, for whatever was necessary. The silence before the battle was heavier than any explosion. Sam was the first to speak. "Come back. It doesn't have to be like this. This is your last chance," Magneto replied, his voice thick with contempt and fury. "You carry a shield, but you do not understand what it means to protect. You choose to live on your knees before Doom. We choose to stand." Cyclops then activated the visor. "You chose the wrong side." Frank Castle pulled the trigger, taking aim. "I only see targets." And so, it began. The first shot cut through the sky, X-Men versus Avengers. The whole world watching. And in the shadows, far away in his tower, Doom Stark watched silently, a barely perceptible smile on his face. "Let them kill each other, while I watch. Because in the end, the real war hasn't even started yet." And Beyonder was watching. Continues. "It looks like things are about to get insane. Is this all just the beginning? Click the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. See you next time. Bye."